Since the beginning of our original seeding on this planet, our doorway home has been visible and open to us. We agreed that we would not enter this physical third dimension paradigm without being able to extract ourselves when we had accomplished all things we had placed before us. The ancients never lost sight of the doorway to heaven, as they understood there would come a time when they would wish to access it and ascend back to their original source. The concepts presented in this video reintroduces the original pathway to ascension, which combines time and love. If one wishes to transform the physical manifestation into a new form of light, one must study the movement and shape of time as it is embraced in love, exactly in the way that Mother, Father, God created it. The original ascension doorway has been visible to mankind for eternity. Alton, the presenter on this video, is a clairvoyant, channel, and editor of the magazine Eagle's Wings, and is of the Alpha Omega Order of Melchizedek. His career as a spiritual teacher has spanned many years, and he is constantly traveling the world, presenting up-to-date information and techniques as he receives it direct from Spirit. He also presents regular meditations and channelings in Sydney, Australia, and has been involved in coordinating a number of world meditations.
Deciding to come together for this weekend. This is the last workshop of the year for me, and I've been presenting this overseas for the last couple of months, and slowly it has grown and emerged into something quite different than what it began, as all these workshops do. And truly the real name for this workshop now is called the Hologram of Love. It's the creating the new paradigm is almost a subheading, because the techniques that we're going to work with are truly holographic, and it's all to do with unconditional love. So as we work through, you'll understand what I mean by that, and we'll take it step by step through this manual that has emerged through all these workshops. When I first began this one, I was just working from written notes, and we were channeling the techniques as we worked through the workshop. But slowly this has emerged, and now we'll be able to systematically go through this. But I haven't given it out just yet, because there is something, or a new philosophy that Thoth has brought through in recent times. And when he began to speak to me about all this new philosophy and the new attitude towards ascension, I was rather blown away, because he was approaching ascension in a different manner altogether. And he began with the words, "Why don't we have eyes in the back of our head?" And as I was saying on Thursday evening, that I always thought my mother always did have eyes in the back of her head. But truly, he then went on to say, have you ever wondered why all the senses of the body are on the front of the body, and that the back seems to be just a support system for the front? And I really didn't click on to what he was saying until he then gave me a vision. And the vision was that he drew me out of the back of my body, and I looked at my body and I could see that half of my body wasn't there. And he explained it this way, that in reality the veil exists here, and the back of our body, all the back part of our body, including the spine, is all connected to the time-space light continuum. That we are connected to unity consciousness all of the time, and we always have been. And it is a complete illusion that we feel that we are separate and we have a separate consciousness. So if you think about all of us gathered here in this room, we actually all reside within unity consciousness all of the time. And if you think about it, your consciousness is about here, at the back of your head. It's just sitting at the back here. So it's always been in the time-space continuum. It is outside the veil. Now, if the veil is here, starting from this chakra right here, and move it around and split your body in half, it means that the spine, all your chakras, are all within the time-space continuum, which is attached to the spine itself. Which means that that makes so much sense when you think about it. If you're a channel or you're doing any type of energy work, everything comes in from behind, and all your master guides all come in around the back of you. All they're doing is standing in the higher dimensions right behind you. So everything is there. Everything is right behind you all the time. And when he began to give us all this information, I started to think, oh my goodness, so many things make sense to me now. And so he went on and supported that information with much, much more, and with many, many techniques. And so during this 2-day intensive, we're going to be working with that philosophy and working with the techniques which will show you how to spin counterclockwise out of your body very easily and move into your own time-space light continuum. And when you do that, you're able to observe yourself in a completely different way. One of the things that you may observe is the fact that when you spin out of your body and observe it from behind, from the higher dimensional point of view, it doesn't necessarily look like a human body. That for some of you, you're going to see that we look like a computer. And that was the first thing that struck me when we did this, was he said, have a look at your body now. And as I was standing about 2 feet out from my body, I was looking in, and it was an electrical system, and there were different shapes in there that were definitely not, let's say, human organs. And he said, this is how we see you. And that what you perceive you are is only within the third dimensional paradigm within the veil. And of course, as soon as I came back into the body, I saw and felt it as I would within this paradigm. But the fascinating thing was that as I was out within my own space-time continuum, out behind myself, that as I came back in, I came in and fitted into myself like a glove. And so I was easily able to extract myself and pull myself out again. So during this weekend, we're going to learn to do that often, repeatedly, and we're going to work with a number of very quick and instant techniques. He's also saying right now that sacred geometry can be experienced in a more automatic way than ever before. And that if we look at this, we see that we have what he's now renamed, this is the flower of life, holographic sphere, but he's renamed it the hologram of love. And I want to try and explain that a little bit more. It's known that the whole universe was born from that pattern, which means that every single thing within the universe resonates to that pattern. That means that you and I also resonate to that pattern, that the finest possible particle of our cell structure is that pattern. That means something else. This whole universe resonates to unconditional love. On the higher planes of existence, the highest power and knowledge resonates to love. That means that if we have that pattern within us, that's our own original seed of unconditional love within ourselves. So we are made of love. We are made of unconditional love. So we don't have to look for it anywhere. We are it. We are made of love, we are love, and we resonate to that very pattern of love. So now, if you have a think about that, that means that we cannot be separate from anything in the whole of the universe of all creation of God. It's impossible, because we all resonate exactly to the same thing. So there is another, how can I put it, there's another support system for creating unity. We already are united in exactly the same formula and always have been. And the 13-20-33, which is all through our whole body, is the frequency of unconditional love. Otherwise it wouldn't be in our body. We wouldn't have been made with 13-20-33 if it wasn't the frequency of love. So you can see how that frequency and that pattern put together is the formula for ascension, for raising our frequency and becoming purely just unconditional love. And so during this weekend, this is what we're going to do. We're going to explore everything about the 13-20-33 frequency and everything about that hologram of love. Now, I want to also say something else. If that is what the universe was made from, or it came from, was projected out of, was created from, and we were created from the same pattern, then it also means something else to us. That's the doorway home. Once we understand how to work with that hologram, then we can access it and we can exchange our physical being for a being of light. For right behind us, everything is within a spiral that spirals out from behind us. And we are standing in our doorway, and we always have been. We've always been standing in the doorway of Ascension. And so what we have to do now is to bring that doorway around us and make sure that we're not only standing in it, but we're consumed by it. And the more that we're consumed by it, the easier it will be for us to extract, or let's put it this way, transform ourselves into the body of light. So I then went on to question him a little bit more because I wanted the answers to a number of questions. One of the things I said to him was, often when people see a spirit or soul removing itself from a body that has just died, it removes itself from forwards out of the body. It comes out. If we have to draw ourselves out of our time-space continuum out through the back, how come when a body dies that they can come out the front? And he simply said that as a body dies, that the time-space continuum simply consumes the body, and then the spirit can just rise straight out the front. Once the time-space continuum comes around and consumes the body, that the spine becomes totally a spherical manifestation, which means spirit can come in and out of it all different directions. But when you're standing in a physical body, with the front being a facade only, and the back really truly not being there, that means that when you're working normally within the third dimensional paradigm, you're coming in and out from the back. First of all, the flower of life holographic sphere is an automatic transmission to travel throughout the universe and to go beyond with a linear consciousness. I stress a linear consciousness. If you visualize it around your body, then give the command Merkaba activate phase lock expand. The sphere will lock all sacred geometrical shapes automatically and expand to infinity. But if you make two vital changes, it reacts very differently. Firstly, change the title of the holographic sphere to the hologram of love, unconditional love, and add 13-20-33 frequency. When you do this, the original seed of unconditional love in every cell of your body activates and simply wants to rotate counterclockwise back through the time continuum to its original source of love in the higher frequency divine dimensions. All the smaller individual spheres within the hologram of love begin to rotate in unison and draw you back into the time continuum. You are instantly in a space of unconditional love. Using advanced techniques with the gold and silver ray of creation accelerates the process, and you find yourself rushing backwards through the time and light continuum. In reality, you are not going backwards, you're expanding through the spherical reality at no time. Part of the experience is being able to see the veil that exists around the third dimension. At the beginning, there was only a sound. Then movement was introduced, and then a vehicle. That vehicle was able to be transformed at will to accommodate any application that was needed in a given moment. The vehicle had to have a wave pattern so it could be manipulated by energy. This energy was of a magnetic value, and so could respond to a thought command, impulsive response. As this concept developed and consciousness was added, it was independently able to manifest, but still being connected to its original source. This amazing concept of divine wisdom was our original pattern of creation, and so it seems the flower of life was that original pattern. I have never seen the flower of life pattern as a flat linear concept. The moment I saw it, it was holographic, and all of my sacred geometrical work has been working with this amazing hologram. Several years ago, in the early days of working with Thoth, he reminded me of an original agreement I had with him in Atlantis and Egypt, and as I lay on a bed of reeds dying within an Egyptian temple, he bent over me and said, "Our work has just begun, and I will return in your last lifetime, and we will complete what we originally started. I will present the mysteries of the universe to you and show you how to open the doors to the higher wisdom, and the heavens will open for all mankind to see beyond their limited paradigm." As I received this latest piece of information, the vision came flooding back to me, and I was overwhelmed by its simplicity. His approach through the concept of time was most refreshing. It seemed so logical. As we change our personal energy field to the flower of life hologram, we break down linear time and disintegrate the veil. If we understand the concept of this pattern, it will take us into the time continuum, the eternal life form of Adam and Cadmium in the higher dimensions. As the universe is sustained by unconditional love, true divine manifestation can only occur within love. It is natural to conceive that the flower of life is the pattern of unconditional love. The universe was born from it, and the finest particle of our atomic cell structure is that pattern. That means we have always had the seed of unconditional love within us, and all we need to do is recognize it and activate this wonderful original essence. In presenting this wonderful three-breath meditation, Thoth has renamed the hologram to the hologram of unconditional love, and asked us to activate it with the cosmic Christ consciousness frequency 132033. This immediately awakens our original seed of love within our atomic structure, and our soul responds through our heart. It simply wants to expand through the universe to merge with the unconditional love that abounds there. Simultaneously, you break away from the linear time of 1260 and into the time continuum of the higher dimensions through the curves, the hologram of love. This approach to the Merkaba activation is unique and different and very automatic. It is quick and concise. As Thoth gave this to me, he said it was time for mankind to enter no time and to break down the linear movement of time within the human consciousness. This could only be done by activating the original seed of love within all human beings and align them with the source of all that there is. I offer this new wisdom to you all with no strings attached. Learn it, teach it, spread it around the world. I will present it with many new advanced extensions in this workshop. Now, the time-space continuum was attached to our body, and why and how it was connected to the source. And so he showed me this vision. And the vision was, he showed me the mass of God, or the source. And then he showed me all these probes going off from the source, absolutely millions and billions of them. And at the end of these probes were little golden sensitive ends. And I thought, well, I wonder what that is. And as soon as I had that thought, of course, he just took me all the way right down to the end of one of these things, and at the very end was a human being. And he said, "Look how sensitive you are," and he poked their finger into this person, and they went like this, you know. And he says, "You are so sensitive." And he said, "You're meant to be sensitive, because with your sensitivity, you can then feed a massive amount of information back to the God source all of the time. Every minute particle of time within the third dimensional concept of creation is constantly bringing that information back to the source." And then he showed me something else. He said, "Watch these probes," and two of them came together. And then they started to feed back information from a joint consciousness, in a sense. The two had come together to bring back information. And then these two separated. One went on its merry way on its own, the other, and this one is joined up with another one. And so that information is coming back, but in a slightly different manner, but still joined with another probe. And so this is really what humanity is. This is what we are doing, is we are the sensitive probe on the end of this time-space continuum. Or a later story to you about my first experience with the Lords of Amenti. First of all, in the Emerald Tablets, they only mentioned 7. But when I met them, there was 12. And I asked why there was 12 when there was only mentioned 7 in the Emerald Tablets. And he said, the Emerald Tablets were written in Atlantis. And humanity and evolution has changed tremendously. And that there is now 12 Lords of Time, Light, and Space. And that as above, so below. So that if we're going through a massive change on this Earth plane, can you imagine the changes that are taking place above to accommodate our change? Now, it seems to me that we have a key role to play here on the Earth. And so as we are going through our changes, they're having to accommodate that and to do their shift and shuffles and so on the higher planes. So every time you think you're experiencing a change in your life, can you imagine how that's reverberating behind you and up into the higher heavens? That all those changes are being experienced on all levels above and beyond us. So that was a fairly good answer as far as I was concerned as to why there was 12. Now what truly happens there is on the third breath, as we expand, as we give that command, phase lock, disk expand, let me explain what all that means. It means this. It means that the star tetrahedron field around your body, the octahedron field also, and the dodecahedron field around that, all lock automatically together with the words phase lock, and they simply come into complete unison within the hologram, and that allows then the hologram to simply expand immediately. For those people who have done all of this previous work, you already know the feeling when you expand your Merkaba field. You know that there is a certain feeling that comes with that when you've done it for a while. All I can say to you is when you do this expansion with this hologram, it's different. It's a much more refined feeling of energy expansion, and you will definitely notice the difference. So that's the thing I can say about that. But all of these fields all automatically lock them together, and the field rotates counterclockwise. But all the other fields inside will all rotate. This one's a counterclockwise rotational field. This is a clockwise rotational field, which is the octahedron. And then the dodecahedron is a counterclockwise rotational field again. All of these will all work in unison automatically when you work with the hologram. All sacred geometrical shapes are found in here. And so this is like this is what is called an automatic transmission. In previous meditations, we've used this and turned it into a tube, and we've experienced going through that tube, and it automatically takes us out of the universe. Well, if you can remember that or understand that, it means that all of this truly is an automatic transmission, that we don't have to worry about the intricacies inside. They will simply rotate in the way that is expected of them within this field. This is a divine field. It is the most divine application of energy. And so it means that anything that's within it is absolutely perfect. all the straight lines and angles, when rotated at speed, eventually become curves. So you're changing all linear applications into a continuous flow. And that's really what we're doing here. We're converting linear concepts into continuous concepts of spherical consciousness. The first thing that came to my mind was that if this was the mudra that the Buddha used and he ascended, and we're now being told that this is the mudra for our ascension, that his ascension was a different process to ours, because he was working with separation. If you can have a look at the two fingers, they're separate. But now we're being asked to bring them together, to lock them together. So his process of ascension was definitely different to yours and mine.
Does that have to do with higher consciousness?
Not necessarily. The vibration on the earth was totally different than what it was or what it is now. And our process has been modified.
The three-breath hologram of unconditional love, Merkaba. Find a quiet place. Sit comfortably. Place your hands in the unity mudra. Call telepathically to your spirit and master guides, Lord Sananda, the cosmic Christ if you wish, to guide and protect you through this spiritual journey. As you close your eyes and breathe a little deeper than you normally would, in your mind sound the word so on the in-breath and hum on the out-breath. This is the natural sound and rhythm of the breath. After several breaths, visualize a shaft of white light entering your head at the back of the crown. See it exiting at the bridge of the nose between the eyes, so that the shaft of white light is at a 45-degree angle through the center of your head. This technique has the ability to still the mind, create the space between thoughts, and stop the interaction between the right and the left sides of the brain. Continue breathing, sounding the so hum, and holding the shaft of white light within your brain until a perfect stillness envelops you. Now begin the three-step Merkaba technique. Step 1. Visualize a hologram of the unconditional love in brilliant gold above your head, just a little larger than your physical body. With one breath, draw it down over your body and anchor the center in your heart. Thought intention on the in-breath, heart lock. Step 2. Visualize a pranic tube running through the center of the hologram, extending beyond the hologram above to connect with the heart center of God, and extending below to connect with the heart center of Mother Earth. The pranic tube enters through the crown chakra and out through the perineum. On the in-breath, visualize the violet fire with the silver goddess ray within it, flowing up from the heart of Earth and down from the heart of God to meet at your heart center. On the out-breath, visualize the flow extending forward of you like a laser beam, filling up the hologram with the violet fire and silver goddess ray, and all through your physical body cell by cell. Thought projection on the in-breath, clearing of all negative and emotional blockages. Step 3. On the in-breath, visualize golden prana flowing from heaven and earth through the pranic tube meeting at the heart. On the out-breath, once again project the golden prana like a laser beam through your heart, filling up the hologram. Thought projection. In-breath, 13, 20, 33 Merkaba activate. Pause, hold your breath. Phase lock, disc expand. Breathe out. You may feel a sensation of expanding in all directions out into the universe and beyond.
Is an amazing concept. And when we signed on for this, we really knew that that was going to be one of the most ultimate experiences that one can ever experience through any type of evolution. So we really signed up for the best, for the greatest experience of all.
It hasn't been done.
And it hasn't been done before. So this is
No role model.
no role models. We're the role models.
We're the most.
We're learning by the seat of our pants. And so this is why it's so, you know, the masters often say that they really don't know a lot of these things that are going to happen because it's never happened before. We have to be something exceptional. They keep telling us that this whole experience and experiment was to bring forth into the universe the highest, the most experienced, the most, wow, what would you say? The greatest ascended masters that have ever been in this universe. And I asked the question once, I said, well, why? And they said simply because there's going to be a need in the future times for a lineage of mastery that is beyond anything that's ever come before.
If you are interested in the rest of this video series, you can contact the publisher distributors displayed on the video back cover.
First breath, it's all right. Second breath, hold on tight. Third breath, you're out of sight.